Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Middle of the Road, the podcast. This week, we're flashing back again to 2010 to review a film Lauren picked for us. Her first or second foreign film you picked for us?
Second.
It's our second foreign language film in a couple weeks. Did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon recently. This is the film Trollhunter from Norway. Directed by Andre Olredal. Probably pronounced that wrong. He has made headway into American filmmaking since this. The Autopsy of
Jane Doe.
Jane Doe. And what was the other one? Scary Stories.
And Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So
he's been moving on up. You know, he made this crossed over. I mean, I remember, I never saw it. This is the first time seeing it, but it was on my radar to see when it came out. It's kind of a crossover genre hit. And then Autopsy of Jane Doe, I thought was solid-ish. But I say that now, and then I always gave it 1 or 2 stars. Let's see what I gave it. I gave it 3.5 stars, so I did like it. And then I did not see Scary Stories. Ben, I think you said last week that was your favorite of the 3 movies that you've seen by him?
Yes, by a fairly significant margin.
Has anybody else seen any of his other stuff?
Just Jane Doe.
Jonathan?
No, this is my first venture into his films.
Okay. Lauren, you picked it, so you tell us why you picked it, and we'll go from there.
I picked it, I suppose, just because I tend to like, well, that's a very broad overstatement. I enjoy, generally, found footage films, and I feel like this was one that not a lot of people have actually seen.
Had you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it. I don't remember when I originally saw it, but it's been a while, and it might have been around the time that there was supposed to be an American remake at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It got canceled back in 2016, though. But I don't know. I just remember watching this movie. Like I can't. It was on Netflix for a while, and I remember just like I would see the poster from time to time. I'd be like, I'll watch that, but maybe not yet, because reading is required, and I don't wanna. But I finally watched it, and I was just like. I mean, obviously with the poster, there's a troll on it, so you expect there's probably going to be trolls in the movie, but at the same time, when we first see one, it was just like, oh, there are trolls in this movie. Like, I was just kind of surprised how much you see of it, and I don't know, I enjoy it just because I found it pretty funny. And I will say that, like, the last third or so of the film, it hits this point where all of a sudden it just goes really downhill for me, and I don't know why, but, like, I feel like with a lot of found footage films, they can be pretty hit or miss with the ending, and I think this is one of them where I was just like, but overall, I enjoy the film.
Yeah, it tried to go really big and broad, but you can still, on the budget that they're working with, when you can only have a guy flashing a light on top of his car as your big set piece, I could see that being a bit of a letdown. I think also the movie was maybe stretched a little too thin by that point.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been probably a tighter hour and a half would have been a better movie.
Yeah, and it's like I can't say I know like Norwegian mythology all that well, but just like general knowledge I have about trolls and stuff. I just found like the whole I remember watching it the first time, and when you see that like he slowly brings out sheep and like a goat on this bridge, and it's just like, and then the trolls underneath it, it's like, oh my god, this is amazing. It's like so stupid but so amazing.
That was one of the best bits of the movie, too.
Yeah, for sure. And like the guy getting ragdolled. But yeah, I still enjoy it. It's not my favorite found footage film. That's probably, I don't know. I like Cloverfield a lot. I like Wreck a lot. But I still really enjoy this one.
Since I've shared my thoughts a little bit, this was, like I said, the first time I saw it. But I enjoyed myself. Like Lauren said, I enjoyed the fun. It was a fun little adventure romp most of the time, and had some pretty good laughs, especially most of the things around Hans, the guy who played Hans, so I believe his name is Hans something. Yeah, I thought he was really funny, and the script had some good, clever bits and jokes in there throughout. But I think it did get stretched maybe a little long, but I appreciated, I imagine this is a fairly small budget, and they made the most out of it, I would say, especially for 10 years old. I think some of the troll effects even hold up halfway decently. And I think the troll layer in the mine scene was actually even a little effective from a tense standpoint. So
See, that's the moment where the film kind of went downhill for me
Yeah.
because it was like super comedic, and then all of a sudden it wasn't, and it was very weirdly done, like awkwardly done.
I mean, I would argue like the biggest laugh I got out of the movie is when they're hiding and those trolls just start ripping it and they're all like gagging. Like, okay, that's my barometer for humor here. So, you know, I wasn't as big on this movie. Like, I don't know. The first time I watched it, it didn't really connect with me. Like, I didn't really know how I was supposed to feel about it. Like, was it supposed to be scary? Was it supposed to be funny? I just never really had any attachment to it. And then this time I kind of felt, the same. I could see people liking this movie. It's not something I really got into. And, I did a little bit of reading. Apparently, like, most of the cast are, like, pretty famous comedians. Or, like,
I think it's a
popular
comedy first, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, like, I didn't, like, laugh I didn't really, I mean, again, my biggest laugh in the movie was troll farts, and so I'm not a hard guy to please.
Well, clearly you are if you didn't laugh at anything else.
I guess, like, it just, I don't know, like, it's one of those ones where it's like, I probably won't watch it again, but if someone asked me if they should watch it, I would probably say it's worth a shot.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm somewhere in between.
He was offended by the violence against Christians in the movie.
Yeah. Well, so it's interesting because I think the first time this film was introduced to me, and I didn't watch all of it. I started it, but I never finished it. One of my friends introduced it to me as like having some kind of religious like tones or like religious allusions, and so I guess I thought going into it there was going to be some sort of commentary, like bigger commentary or metaphor about religion in general or that kind of thing. But no, like it pretty much is just like a found footage, sometimes scary, sometimes funny Norwegian film, and I think I appreciate it for one. Just all of the shots of Norway's landscape I found extremely beautiful. And for a country or people that probably aren't represented, like specifically like their country as much in the media, I appreciated seeing a little bit more of their country. I don't think their humor translated to me as much. Like, I think reading online a little bit, like some of the satire was supposed to be about like bureaucracy and that kind of thing. And like there were like some funny bits like of the guy making the bear tracks, and then like the second time around it's like
they were like cross-legged.
crossing them. Yeah, I don't know. It was ridiculous, but I never felt like there were any laugh out loud moments. Yeah, so it just, I don't know. It was a very tame movie, which at times made it hard to get into because of that. So yeah, I don't know. I think I would agree with Ben, like, if no one's seen it before, just for the sake of, like, seeing what Norway's like, yeah, go ahead and give it a watch. But, and, well, I will say, I think everything surrounding Hans was incredibly well done in sort of how they started out the documentary talking about this guy who people think is a poacher who just like lives outside the law and does whatever he wants. And then by the end, he's like this mythic figure who, like they say in the movie, is really like a superhero who just literally walks off into the sunset. Like
Sunrise,
yeah. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really, like, they built up this mythos around this person, and this sense of awe and stature that I think was well done.
Yeah, and he only massacred like a few families.
Well, I did like how they did bring up, like you said, John, like they mentioned he's like a superhero, and at first I'm like, oh, that's a bit of a stretch. And then, like Lauren mentioned, him just getting thrashed around underneath the bridge. I'm like, oh shit, this dude's badass. Like, this dude, I think he's done this before. Okay.
Just loved it so much because it made me think of the Black Knight. From,
just put a scratch. Thunk, 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 thunk.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It definitely like dips its pinky toe into like trying to be about something a few times. Like, the bureaucracy stuff, like, those were, like, good jokes woven into the first third of the movie, I thought. And, like the reason why he was happy with them, like, filming him was he's like, there's shit benefits and da-da-da, you know. It almost talks about immigration. Does Norway have a history of mass genocide? Like, I don't think so. So, like, him talking about killing all
that.
like, but him, like, murdering all the trolls, like, what was the connection? Like, it feels like if they would have just maybe focused on Hansel, like, gave him a... Because, like, I think his, like, going out into the living in Trollland is a bit of a stretch, too. Like, why? How did he get there, you know?
Because wasn't he, like, a Marine of some kind or something?
Yeah.
I think he said he was in the Navy.
Yeah, he was, like, a Navy something. But, I mean, it's there, but it could have been... We could have dived into it a little bit deeper, I think. But then, like, to the religious point, like, it is just kind of a bit to play off. You know, it is a payoff. The trolls don't like Christian blood joke. And then they also get the what do trolls feel about Muslims joke in there at later, you know? And
that was a pretty good line.
I want to know what they told that woman to come on this trip with them. It's like, did they give her any backstory?
Yeah, they're filming muskox.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Because like she's like, I was just filming lions or something, and then you come into this. It's like, did they show her the footage, all the footage they had taken beforehand, or just you just have to wait and see it yourself?
They had it told. I mean, she was like, because when they get out,
and the first time they mentioned trolls, she's like, "Come on."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's why. But like, in the beginning of the movie, it says something like they have 248 hours of footage or something like that. It's like, I feel like you could have prepped her on the way out to see this massive troll. It's like, even if she doesn't believe what you show her, you did your job by doing it. Like,
as a movie, I mean, you're not wrong. But as a movie from the movie wise, as it was feeling a little bit longer that back half, I was happy to just skip all that.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about the back half is when they're at the power plant and like they're talking. They asked him like he didn't find it weird that the power lines just go in a circle
and don't connect to anything.
A bit weird, but it's quite beautiful.
See that part, like I know there's probably other stuff I was supposed to be thinking of. Like the first time I watched it, I didn't necessarily think of Three Billy Goats Gruff with that one part. I was too busy making connections. Like every time something happened in this movie, I thought of Jurassic Park. Like the first time they see the troll, like you see like water, the grass and stuff moving, and then like the trees are moving, and that made me think of the T-Rex. And then like the goat coming out and just being sacrificed. It's like, oh no, it's the T-Rex again. And then at the end, it's like when it's breaking the power. You don't see it break the power lines, but you know the T-Rex does that. Yeah. I just want to watch Jurassic Park again, you guys.
So we figured out that dinosaurs and trolls are a lot alike. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I think the raptors are smarter than the trolls, is what we've learned.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of them trolls open a door, right?
It's true. I just like to think, like, where was that massive troll at the end? How does it hide from the sun?
Yeah.
How does some random cave out there that we don't know about? Just like a big, like, the door just takes up half of the mountain or something.
And you said the door, it lives inside the mountain. It's like, how does it fit? Like, what? Like, is there just an opening that no one's seen in this mountain?
Don't think about it.
Let me scooch on in.
Yeah, it's like, no, it nestles against a mountainside, and like there's just a sheer cliff, and it just has to like move around it to stay in shadow the whole time.
Actually, I did laugh at one other bit, which was the very end when it's was it a prime minister, and he's just like, oh yeah, and trolls exist, and the bear dude's just like, just like pans over, like, what the fuck?
I was surprised there wasn't more of a payoff to the rabies bit. Like they put a lot of time into him being bitten, into just being he had rabies, and he's dead.
See, I love that. That payoff was great to me because it's like, I mean, they could have done it at Cloverfield. He could have just
big troll that had the rabies that was spreading it, right? How did it bite things?
I don't know.
Spread it. Like, wouldn't it just eat them?
As an expert in troll epidemiology, I can definitively say that none of that made sense. I agree with Zach. There wasn't a payoff for it.
Maybe it's like a great white shark. It test bites things, but it doesn't want to bite or eat people. So when it bites another troll, it's like, oh, my bad, guys. I'll go eat something else.
Yeah, but something that big, how can it test bite without, like, biting it in half?
Again, like great white sharks, when they test bite things, sometimes people die.
Light touch.
I was fully expecting him to transform into a troll or something.
Yeah!
District 9 or something.
So did I for a while. Like
Well, yeah, I was like, man, I forgot that he got bit. Oh man, is he gonna like turn into a troll? This will be awesome.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember that part of mythology, but mostly I just remember them turning to stone, so. But I like that too, when they talked to the vet and she was just gave this explanation about like trolls can't convert vitamin
Calcium.
D to calcium or something. I was like, yeah, that makes sense enough to me. I'm dumb enough to believe that.
It's like, look at this. You have all this like scientific like data to back up like the mythology of trolls. It's like, but sometimes they just explode instead of turning to stone. Like,
it's because they're
cool.
older and their veins expand weird.
No, I'm not complaining. I'll
just
take it.
like as
exploding
they,
trolls were cool.
their veins are weird when they get older. They grow extra heads. Like I'm like 200 years old. Look at these bad boys. But I don't know. It's just there's so much dumb stuff about that I just enjoyed so much.
Yeah, I would have taken more like dumb troll history lessons from Hans during some of the car ride sequence. Like, again, just like chances where they could have thrown in more jokes versus, like trying to create some tension. I don't know. Like, is the movie better if it just goes straight out comedy and then just like has a completely terrifying? Because it seems to like not want to make up its mind most of the time.
See, I never got horror, but I also don't feel that way about most horror a lot of the time. So it's like it was always just a comedy to me, except when the guy awkwardly dies in the one scene. It's still just such a weird moment, and then they get over it very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I couldn't decide. It's like, are these people friends, or are they just at this school working on a project? And why are they so dedicated to this project? It's like, you already got an A after the first night, guys. What are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like they'd get a pass just after, their friend got eaten.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but no, they had to go see this through. It's like, no, I'm on the next train back home.
The world has to know. I'm pretty sure you've got enough footage to back it up already, buddy. Like,
but in all fairness, you find out at the very beginning of the movie that these people are so stupid. Because you know what you don't do? You don't stalk a poacher out into the woods.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty dangerous idea.
Yeah, he's killing you. Like, I mean, this is Norway. They're nicer up there, I guess. I don't know. But
very kind people.
They're too busy hunting trolls.
Yeah, it's true.
I think they also kind of... The best set piece was probably the first one, especially the ending of it, like the reveal of his like UV truck top thing to turn the troll to stone. Like, I felt like that was the best like troll action bit. And then I guess the one that followed it was the next best, which was the bridge stuff, I think, if I remember correctly. But then again, that was being played for laughs more than anything. I think that's where the film felt at most in its groove. And I also wonder if they were playing around with, again, was that scene in the woods with the night vision supposed to be scary? Or, like, I don't know. I almost think the movie would have been better if it found some way to parody the found footage genre a little bit in that moment. I don't know what that looks like. But
you just need someone talking into the camera with snot dripping from their nose.
I worried that
every time.
I worried that it would drift too much into the realm of satire, a la like the Scary Movie franchise or that kind of thing, where it's just like very obvious what it's referring to and what it's trying to parody. Like, hey, look here. Don't you remember what this is like? Remember what this is like? Haha.
I'm a strong hand.
Forgot about that.
I did. I will say, Zach, since you brought up the badass truck with the lights, I'm not sure. I must have completely missed it when the truck, or his Hummer or whatever have you, got completely remodeled.
I think it just came into scene that way. You don't see him actually add stuff to it.
Yeah, there's 3 shots. There's a couple establishing shots, but then he didn't get to use it on, he didn't run into any troll's feet or anything.
I mean, I think that van, you just assume it has, or Jeep, whatever it was, just has so much to it. It must have hammer space, because these people drive out to that bridge at one point. Where did the sheep come from? Were they just in the back seat with everyone?
Maybe it's like New Zealand. They're just kind of everywhere. You just kind of grab them.
Maybe they were in his RV and we just didn't know he
They
brought
probably
it that
weren't
time.
even planning on having sheep. They just showed up. It's like, cool, let's use it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's not necessarily commentary, but I think the thing that I took most from this movie, again, I know nothing about like Norwegian, like the church there, or Christianity or whatever. So the thing that I always focused on was just how gullible people are and what they'll believe if like people of authority tell them something is one way. Because it's like we already talked about the news reporter. They asked the questions about just about the bear. I can't remember what her question was, but like someone was just like, no, it's this way. It's like, sure, why not? So everyone else is believing it. And then like at closer to the end, the guy believes it's a tornado. Mm-hmm. Even though there's like 3 trolls running past his house, he's like, no, there's just some tornadoes out there. It's like, sure.
These one people showed up with like maps and like weather things, and they were really like knowledgeable.
The Russian bear guys were really funny too, though. Yeah. That showed up with the this is the wrong bear. He's like, no, it's a good bear. I really enjoyed those guys. That middle stretch was the best, from the first troll to the
end of the troll cave.
That was the sweet spot of the movie for me. Not that I never didn't enjoy anything, but
yeah, but that's also a pretty big sweet spot.
Yeah. Ben, how would you rank his 3 movies that you've seen?
I'd put this firmly in the middle.
Okay. So, because you didn't like Jane Doe.
Yeah. Jane Doe, I don't even remember it. I just remember being disappointed by it.
Was there any more well-known actor or actress in that?
It's Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch, I believe. And then there's a recognizable female actress in it too, I believe.
Yeah.
Jane Doe, I'm presuming.
I think, Ben, that movie, I'm wondering if you went in with, again, looking for more scares than...
Yeah, I mean, I could see myself liking it a little bit more if I go back to it. I don't have a plan to go back to it, like it's not on my list as of now. Like, he's got a knack for making really cool creatures and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, granted, he didn't make the creatures in Scary Stories, it's the book. But he brought them to life.
He's approving really, the final designs that make the movie.
Yeah, yeah. It's like they're. I mean, the most of it's practical, which is like practical effects, which look really cool. So, I'm next time he makes a movie, I'm probably still on board for it.
Yeah, I forget. Did we talk about sort of like how we felt about the realism of the trolls and like how they looked, and they're just the different designs of the different ones?
I thought it worked. I said at the top, I thought the effects-wise, it still looked pretty good and solid and convincing. And
yeah, I think looking at them was another reason why I took this so deeply, more comedically. Just because it's like you see the guys who come into the mine and they just have these massive noses. It's like, can you imagine having that big of a nose when you fart that much?
They looked like Station from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh yeah,
movies I haven't seen.
I think Zach, you said it too. Like the Norway's kind of troll mythology has like different subspecies, different kinds of troll. So this movie definitely plays into that too, and even adds that scientific spin on it as well. Which I mean, there's a lot to appreciate in this movie. It's not for me,
I like the part. They were talking about there's mountain trolls and forest trolls. Is that what they were? But I was just
mountain and
the part where they stop at that
the battlefield.
Yeah, they stop at that the battlefield, and he has like that transparency thing out, just making sure nothing is moved. But they these trolls come out and have a battle in this field where there's like a road right by it. It's like, is no one seeing this happen? It's like, I know you guys are
big
sleeping
tornadoes,
probably, but come on now. Yeah, a lot of tornadoes throwing rocks around. But that made me think of, speaking of your background, like The Hobbit, or was it The Hobbit where they had like the mountains fighting?
That was Hobbit.
Or was that Lord of the Rings?
I think
Hobbit?
it's the first Hobbit movie.
It made me think of that. That was not in the book.
Yeah, we would have definitely gotten a troll fighting scene if they had the Hobbit's budget on Trollhunter, I'm sure.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool to see.
Yeah. One last thing with the director. I guess his next movie after that Mortal movie, assuming he already filmed that one, is the story of the Dementor, the ship that brought Dracula's coffin from Transylvania to England, only to arrive.
I wonder how it ends
with no survivors on board. Dun, dun, dun. I'm sure the movie will squeeze someone. Someone had to get away to tell the story.
Yeah, Dracula.
Did he write about himself a lot?
I mean, I could see him being a pompous dick.
He might have had a phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so cool.
Definitely writes it under a pen name.
Yeah.
Alucard.
Dr. Acula.
Oh, that's even better. Oh.
Still one of the greatest jokes of all time.
Wait, where was that? What was that?
Oh, I don't even know. Scrubs did it really well, but I'm sure Scrubs wasn't the first people to do it.
Oh, I was giving you full credit. I haven't heard that before.
No, yeah.
And then my mind went on a tangent about how it sounded like Scott Bakula.
I think that's going to do it for Trollhunter. Anybody got anything else on it?
I think the final thing I have to say about it is just, like, it kind of bothers me. My biggest complaint about the movie is just that, like, at any time these kids didn't think the movie, like, they didn't foresee this ending. Like, did they seriously think they were going to get away with this footage of something the government does not want people to know about? It's like, of course you're going to die in the end. Or get hidden away somewhere. They
really string them along to, like, why did the government interact with them, like, 4 times before getting in the way, you know?
Yeah, because, like, even at one point, like, the first or second time, I guess it was technically the second time, they talk to the guy, and they know that he's involved with trolls now and not just a wildlife expert or whatever he was. It's like, he even says then, he's like, you're not going to get to keep that footage, but then he drives away and lets them keep it. It's like, what are you doing?
I also appreciated the Hans diner scene a lot. I thought that was really good. Like, he had his, like, sweater and glasses on, and it looked like a Lebowski sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a good... more Hans. He was my favorite part.
Has that actor been in anything?
He's a comedian, apparently.
Great deadpan performance.
Incredible deadpan performance, yeah.
He hasn't been in a lot acting wise, it doesn't look like.
That's gonna do it for Trollhunter. I think 2 definite recommends and 2 soft, if you're interested, recommends, it sounds like. A fun genre movie from another country. And I don't think that's interesting, is that how would you even do, like, where would you, if in an American remake, like, how do you define it? Does it become like a Canadian troll thing? It's like Americans going up to Canada to find trolls, or like they would have to build in that mythology. Like, trolls aren't tied to U.S.
I mean, you could still film it there, just people would be speaking
That's
English.
True,
like, how many times do you do movies where it's like they're Russian, but they're speaking like English accents or something?
So.
I was gonna say, just be in Norway, but everyone speaks English
with a little bit bigger budget. Well, they already do speak English in Norway. Everyone speaks English in Norway already.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't even have to change the premise. They're speaking English this time. Yeah. So that's gonna do it for Trollhunter. Next week we are flashing back to 2000 for John's pick.
I believe so.
Believes John's pick for the who directed this movie?
I have no idea.
I feel like I should know this. Oh, Jay Roach of Austin Powers fame. Jay Roach is...
That's where I know the name.
Meet the Parents. This stars...
Jay Roach, son of Papa Roach.
Ben Stiller, Robert De Niro, and Owen Wilson stealing scenes, as he did a lot in the late 90s. John will tell us why he picked this one next week, but yeah, go watch Meet the Parents. A movie I was never that high on. Has everybody seen that movie?
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Zach. I was like, it's fine.
I'm not a huge Ben Stiller fan, so...
I really like Ben Stiller, that's the thing.
I am. Yeah, it's like, but again, I haven't seen it in probably, 15 years, so...
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it holds up.
Ben, I'm warning you ahead of time. If you say Mystery Men was better than this, I'm going to choke you with a lightsaber.
I'm probably going to say that, so
we need to find a Ben Stiller... Have we reviewed a Ben Stiller movie I like, though?
I feel like we've only done one, so...
Mystery Men's the only one?
You liked the Meyerowitz. I mean, I know we haven't talked about it.
We gotta do Zoolander.
What was that movie?
That's
The
a
Secret
2000
Life of
movie.
Walter Mitty, was that Was that
Yeah.
what that was called?
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one.
I didn't like that one. I mean, I thought it was fine.
Which one?
Secret Life
Secret
of
Life
Walter
of
Mitty.
Walter Mitty.
He also
I didn't
directed
see
that
that.
one. And Zoolander.
It has
Tropic Thunder.
And Tropic Thunder.
Kristen Wiig in it.
Kristen Wiig, yeah. Sean Penn.
Tropic Thunder is probably his best movie, both acting wise and
Acting-wise?
directorial.
I wouldn't give him acting wise. It's got to be something else acting. I mean,
He directed that, right?
I would put it like acting neck and neck with Zoolander.
I was gonna say acting wise is probably Zoolander.
But
Guys,
but how can
why
you
are-
say? How can you say? Sorry, John. How can you say acting wise it's his best? So this sucks. If that's his best acting performance, it's like the fifth best.
Dude, he's
performance
great in it.
the movie, though. He's like maybe the fifth or sixth guy in that movie. Tom Cruise is better.
Okay,
Johnny
but
Jr.
my
is
point is
better.
like
Jack Black
everybody,
is insane in that movie.
everybody in that movie is amazing. Like it's like he's only
McConaughey.
fifth of like he's only
Hater.
fifth or sixth of like 5 or 6 of the funniest comedic performances in film. You know, okay,
I'm just
I'll
saying,
take that.
I don't think he would want to be. I don't think an actor would want to think, "Oh, I was the sixth best thing in that movie, and that's the best thing I've ever done."
Yeah, he'd probably want to be remembered for Mystery Men. All right.
Guys, I think we're forgetting his like beloved role as Simple Jack.
Oh my god. Or what's the
words
character's
the
name?
words we'd have to avoid if we ever did a Tropic Thunder podcast. Ben Stiller's best performance, the Mission Impossible 2 MTV Movie Awards thing with
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, where he plays a stunt double, might be his best performance.
That's pretty good.
Also, Dodgeball. We're getting
I was
ahead of
going to say
ourselves.
Dodgeball, and he's basically the same character in Heavyweights.
Ian,
Touche.
Happy Gilmore. You're in my world now, Grandma.
He's got a couple good lines, but not like I don't know.
Go watch Meet the Parents. And until then, I'm Zach Oldenburg. You can find us wherever you can find me wherever you can find at Zach Oldenburg. You can find us at middlerow.com. You should also rate and review our podcast. Apparently it helps things.
I'm Ben Grigsby. You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at the Grigsby Bear, and you can find all of us on Facebook at Middle of the Row.
I'm Jonathan Rahul. You can follow me on Twitter at another Rahul J, and you can also follow us on Twitter at Middle of Row.
And I'm Lauren Heimbaugh. You can find me on Twitter at Beware of Trees, and you can find us on Tumblr at middleofrow.tumblr.com.
Thanks for listening. Go watch Meet the Parents. And remember, the best seats are in the middle of the road.